Hello and welcome to the Rolling With series. I'm Will, and with me is the mad scientist in my basement,
Sarah.
And today we're looking at Dominion Alchemy. Sarah, tell us a bit about this game.
All right. Alchemy is a small expansion that introduces potions as a new treasure type and several effects that deal with discarding and a player's deck. So let's dive right in here. The main thing this offers is interesting deck manipulation.
Yes, many of the cards allow you to search your deck, stack your deck, do stuff with your deck to manipulate it in extreme ways. It takes a lot of foresight to play properly, and to add a little wrinkle into all that, it also adds potions, which is a new type of currency. It brings the cost down on a lot of cards because it then requires, say, a few money and a potion to buy this powerful card. But making sure to have that potion when you need it is that wrinkle in the game where all that deck manipulation comes into being a very needed function.
Yeah. Alchemy is an expansion that definitely requires a lot of planning ahead, a lot of foresight, and utilizing certain mechanisms that may or may not be your jam. Because honestly, when it comes down to it, Alchemy is generally the least popular expansion.
Yeah, and I think part of that is why it has probably the most intrusive card in the entire Dominion family, Possession.
Yes.
Now, the way Possession works is that you play your turn, you play it. Then, the next person's turn, you take their hand. You don't keep their cards, but you play their turn for them. Any cards that are gotten go to your stack, and then you just hand them back their cards saying, that was great. Now you take your turn.
Yes, and I have a very personal experience as to why I absolutely hate Possession, is because we were playing a 3-player game with my nephew, and I can't remember the exact order, but I think it was you, my nephew, and me, and I got possessed 2 times in a row, because Will played one. Maybe, is it exactly the person to your left?
Yeah.
How did it...
Unless I played Possession on his turn and then took over yours, and then he played Possession on his turn.
God, it happened so long ago. Now I'm misremembering. All I know is it felt like I got possessed twice in a row.
Or it was just 2 consecutive rounds.
2 consecutive rounds.
Now, I think there are caveats to how it can play, so we probably need to revisit that particular one. But when it goes off once, it is a trippy experience, especially if the person possessing your hand plays your deck better than you do.
Oh, yeah.
Because then you're like, well, you just had my good turn, and now all I have is my junky cards, and that's what I'm left with on my turn. So that can be just a real big crash, and why when someone has that experience once, they'll probably avoid Alchemy if it's brought up.
Generally speaking, I'm okay with the potion and the other deck manipulation aspects of Alchemy. I do find them interesting, but that is very challenging to balance. But yeah, Possession really put me off the whole expansion for a really, really long time. Well, again, and that's where it comes down to, I think a lot of people say that expansion, Alchemy is just more trouble than it's worth. Even though you get some really cool, interesting mechanisms with the potion cost cards, because again, it's that these are more powerful. You're paying less coins for it because you're paying a potion for it. But you have to make sure you have a potion and the right amount of money still to be able to afford it. And if you buy too many potions, then all you're drawing is potions.
Yeah, and you still can't afford the cards.
Right, because I don't think there's any that don't require any money. I think everything is at least...
There are a couple.
There are, okay.
Yeah, it's just you need to play with a significant amount of alchemy for it to be worth your time. And sometimes that's just... There's the cards that put people off.
Yeah, honestly, I wouldn't play Alchemy combined with any other expansion just because of how it would dilute the potion cost cards personally. But again, that's the great thing about Dominion. You can do it however you want because it's your game.
Yeah. Ultimately, it comes down to alchemy is hard to combine with other things because of the need for potions.
Yes.
So, who's this expansion for?
Well, it's really going to be for those advanced players who like to manipulate and also don't mind being manipulated. While you can obviously play without the possession card, that can be fun in the right circumstances. I'm sure someone else believes that. I'm not sure I do. But I honestly don't think this would be good for anyone who's a beginner or maybe some intermediate players, but it's probably not going to be as much fun.
Yes, it is a very intensely plan your turns ahead of time type experience. So the more experienced gamers are the ones that are for this. And if you play, especially with possession, it's probably also very intrusive.
Yes.
To the point where it's like, well, why am I even here? Because you're playing my deck.
Yeah.
I mean, you still get your turn eventually. It's just seeing someone else mess with your cards can be a very unsettling experience because, I mean, it's your deck after all. Why are they playing it? That sort of thing.
Agreed.
So that's Dominion Alchemy, and unfortunately we don't have the Alchemy box because we have the big box, which Alchemy is in case you're wondering. So if you do pick up Alchemy, it won't be this big.
Yeah, it is a smaller rectangular box where the big expansions are square. This one, Alchemy, will be a small rectangle because it's about half the amount of cards.
So that will do it for us. Remember to check out the other video of Rolling with Board Game Theater, or Rolling with Two Presents Board Game Theater, where I do the flavor text of Dominion Alchemy. It's a great one. And if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, you can reach us on the various social media platforms at
Rolling with Two, that's TWO. We're on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. And on YouTube, please like and subscribe.
And we've been Rolling with Dominion.